listening to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
You're listening from the Gettin Salty Experience podcast from my fucking phone, all right? Before I can't even see the comments. Yeah, I'm on my phone. And we are back. Welcome back to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast. This is the only one, whether I'm on my phone or on my computer, that brings the Firehouse Kitchen Table to you. Self-proclaimed best goddamn podcast out there, like the Joe Rogan. And this is the one, yeah, we bring the Firehouse Kitchen Table, all the shenanigans, the stories, the politics, the sports, the religion, the relationships, the tech stuff that Pete's going to help me out with to get a new computer.
You wouldn't believe, like, you wouldn't think that if you just tuned in at 8 o'clock, you'd be like, oh, these guys were smooth, ready to go. Like, literally, we had, what was it, Pete? 1 minute? Before?
Yeah, 1 minute to go. More like 48 seconds.
I wanted to get my hat. But I had to go and apologize to my wife because I went up there like a madman. Give me the charger. I'm going out in 5 minutes. Give me the charger. Your computer's not working. So,
and then his phone, and then he was trying to adjust his phone, and it sounded like I was on the inside of a popcorn bag.
Yep.
That's what was going on for about 20 minutes.
Steve, he was like, Gillespie must have been like, what is going on with these guys?
Exactly. But
we have a guest tonight?
That poor bastard.
Oh, poor guy.
We got it done nonetheless, Pete, right?
Yes, brother. Yeah, well, I will work on a new computer tomorrow. I'll get on that with you because we got to get that this weekend so this doesn't happen Monday, you know?
Yeah, Roofy's got deep pockets. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
Roofy.
Yeah.
Make it rain, make it rain, make it rain.
Yeah. Anyhow, we got a good guest for you tonight. And I'm so happy. I think he's just about my height or maybe even shorter. We'll question him. So I'm all happy about that one myself. We got a short guy. Yeah, no more of these big giants on. You know, all these guys that are 6 foot.
You know what I want to ask him? If he ever had to ask anyone to reach for something in the firehouse.
Never happened. You'll never hear that from a short guy, bro.
No.
You'll never hear a short guy say I can't reach that. Nope.
Yeah, that's good.
But you'll hear a big guy. I can't fit in there. I can't get in there. I'm too big.
Find the way. Nice.
Yeah, right. We got any commercials tonight? What do we got, Pete?
Well, you know
I don't even know what the word of the day is. You know why? Because I can't look in the chat because I'm on my phone. So maybe you two got to come up.
You know what? Yeah, I don't know what to do.
You know what I think it is? I'm going to say it right now. The word of the day is computer.
Oh my God! Fuck it. We'll just do it. We'll do it live. Poor us tonight. But okay, we'll work that out. We do have a couple spots though. It's for our own stuff, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. GettinSaltyApparel.com. Ladies and gents, you know the deal. This is how we pay the bills. And you guys will find the finest firefighter apparel and accessories. We got t-shirts, hoodies, hats. We got mugs, shot glasses, pint glasses, the Hearst Tool toenail clippers. Is that the Hearst Tool nail clippers?
Coming in this week.
Coming in next week.
Look at how excited he is. Look at his face.
Listen to me. When we sell 100,000 of these, you'll be laughing already, brother.
You know what? I actually have seen the prototype. Thumbs up. So that's all I'm going to tell you.
It is quality. We do quality stuff, but
yeah, it's not bullshit.
Listen, the next thing we're going to come out is a Gettin Salty computer.
Yeah, Bill Gates, we're on your ass, buddy.
Gettin Salty
but anyway,
computer. Gettin Salty computer.
Yes, the lithium batteries go on fire as soon as you open
computer. Word of the day, computer.
Yeah, okay. We're in the middle of a spot right now for GettinSaltyApparel.com. So,
strikes.
If you guys want to support us and support the show, head on over to GettinSaltyApparel.com. But also, let it be known we have something called a super chat here on the show. And if you guys are feeling generous, and you often do, and we thank you for that, hit us up in the super chat with a little couple shekels if you absolutely positively have to have your
If
question
anybody wants to
answered.
give to the Coob's new MacBook to get on the, so I don't have to be on my phone fund, don't be afraid to hit me up in the super chat. I can't see it, but if you want to give to the computer fund.
How do you put your head on the pillow?
Anyway, you guys are our top sponsors and syndicators for the show, and we always appreciate it. So thank you guys in advance if you're hitting us up in the super chat. And that is all of that. But we still do have one thing, Kev.
We got the pledge, bro.
You know it. So stand by.
Let's get ourselves all patriotic.
And ladies and gents, here we go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yep.
Amen.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And I just want to say something. We have our guest hasn't even arrived in the studio. He's backstage, but I could see him, and he took his hat off for that. That's what a badass mofo you have coming on this show tonight. This
I did too.
Patriotic.
He didn't know we were peeking at him.
This patriotic SOB is in the back taking his hat off. I can't wait to get him on the show. That's
the thing. We didn't catch him picking his nose or something back there, bro.
This is a man amongst men. I'm going to tell you that. All right, Ronzoni would be proud. And thank you, Loot, for
super chat
for the super chat. Who says to please refrain from chatting during the Pledge of Allegiance. I love that. Very nice. I didn't know if they did or didn't, but thank you guys if you did. And all right,
right.
Kev.
I wasn't
You
paying
really get
attention.
a good look at your nose from here, Coob.
Do you like that?
It's a little crooked.
You want me to give you a sit? Yeah, I know. It's been beaten up quite a few times. So let me give you a little tip of the day. I'm going to give you my old school tip of the day. All right?
Oh, what's that?
You can burn yourself with ice just as quickly as you can burn yourself with fire. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see this. Take a look at this.
Oh no.
What's happening? Oh no.
Do you see that?
Oh.
Do you see that giant burn mark on my leg?
What the hell?
Yeah, that's from an ice pack. That's from an ice pack. I was icing my knees down. And I took it off and I was like, God damn, that hurts. I thought it was my knee that was hurting.
How long did you?
Second-degree burn on my leg with a blister the size of a quarter or more. Yep.
What? How long did you run it for? 24 hours? That fucking ice pack?
No,
I've never.
It wasn't even that long.
When you put it on your skin.
Yes. Yeah. Don't put it on your skin.
Yeah,
No.
it's usually they tell you to run it with like a towel in between or something like
There's
that.
my old school tip of the day. All right.
Holy shit.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, just like Full Metal Jacket. Toe jam. Pop that blister. I like it. Don't pop that. Don't pop it. Don't
All
pop
right,
it.
let's go. Let's get the guy in.
I will get the guy in here. Steve, thanks for taking your hat off. Thanks for waiting back there. And thanks for being just as short as me. I appreciate it. We got a hard charge, a Bronx guy. You know, the Bronx guy. The tough. We got Bronx
Gentlemen.
The boogie
Let's
down.
bring in Stevie Gillespie from the Bronx.
Hey, the man who takes his hat off backstage. God damn it! Beautiful.
What do they say? Your character, right? What do they say? Do the right thing when nobody's looking.
When no one's looking. That's
Oh,
it.
Rookie, that's your old school tip of the day. I like it.
Baby. That's
Even
right.
when
Now, let's
nobody's
get
looking.
this right out of the way, Steve. How tall are you? And don't give me no bullshit.
How tall when I retired or how tall am I now?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Because I lost, I shrunk too.
Yeah, sure. Are you above 5'6"?
I'm at 5'6" right now.
All right, I got about 3/4 of an inch on you.
I think if I would have said I was 5'7", he would have said I'm 5'7",
right?
3/4.
3 inches?
When you're using,
You know what? You should ask. Maybe you should ask your old lady. Then you'll know.
Oh, jeez.
Go home and get your fucking shine box.
So listen, I had the great. Stevie is a gentleman. He's a great guy. I had the privilege of working with him a handful of times. I'm sure Ruffy worked with him.
Yep.
He was up there getting it done in the Bronx before 41 was a squad. They were active in the squad, but they were enhanced, and you can't see it on the phone. Enhanced engine. I got to move it over. I got a tight screen here, Pete. Right, you getting it done, but as we always do, let's throw it back to Stevie's early days. Where'd you grow up? Where you from? How'd you get in the fire service, bro? Give it to us.
Oh, I grew up right on the other side of the Hudson River in Ridgefield, New Jersey, about 5 or 6 miles from the George Washington Bridge. My dad was a volunteer since I was like a year old, and I couldn't wait to turn 17 and join the volunteer fire department. And but my parents both grew up in the South Bronx, and my dad tried to get on a job on FDNY years ago, and he used to take me over to buff jobs all the time. I mean, it was the war years back then, and I remember going, come on, let's get with the old scanner with the crystals in it.
Yeah,
the job would come in the Bronx, and
That's
like, come on, let's go. And my neighbor, guy lived across the street from us. He was an aide in the 16th Battalion in Harlem, and we used to go.
He lived in Jersey, allegedly. Allegedly, he lived in Jersey.
Oh yeah, I wish I would have stayed there because I was 6 miles from my firehouse.
Really?
I had to move 65 miles away because
Good move.
Because you can't live right there, right?
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they should have made it like a radius or something. It would have been, you can
You
live
went out
100
walking?
miles in Montauk, but I can't live 5 miles away from the George Washington Bridge.
Yeah,
Crazy. That's
so
true.
you're buffing with the old man back in the 70s. Nice.
Yeah.
You have any other family on the job?
His best friend was retired a battalion chief, and that's how I really got into the job. And there's a whole story about that. He was a lieutenant in 43, and when I used to buff for my dad, I'd go to 43 when he was a lieutenant, and then I wound up being a lieutenant there myself.
Shit, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Laughing like a suckle. Laughing like a suckle.
Suckle?
A suckle.
A suckle. Laughing like a suckle.
Look at Petey's face.
All right, so dude, so your old man's buffing. You're out there. You taking pictures too? Or you just buffing jobs?
No, just buff, man. We didn't have cameras like back then. We were poor. It was like the one with the big flashes on it.
We were poor. Where were mostly the Bronx or Manhattan?
Yeah, mostly the Bronx. Yeah, mostly the Bronx. So,
What are you, big Yankee fan too?
oh, I hate the fucking Yankees.
Nice.
Really? Come on.
My whole career in the Bronx. I'm a Red Sox fan, believe it or not.
Oh, wait a minute.
I like that better. I like it better.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, screw that.
Yeah,
Come on.
How many times are they going to win?
41 is like 3 miles south of Yankee Stadium, and 43 is like 3 miles north of Yankee Stadium. And I'm just
Oh, they love
I was
you.
a Yankee fan. I was a Met fan a little bit growing up when I was a kid.
Oh,
Yeah,
here they are in the chat now. Go Sox! Come on, Sox!
Get him off the show.
Oh,
Steve was a Met fan from 86 to 88 when they won the World Series.
All right. So, yeah, I'm a Steelers fan because I jumped on the bandwagon in the 70s, but I stayed on that one. So,
All right. That's good.
You're a Steelers fan too? Oh, you would Cliffy had
well, they were winning in the 70s,
That's right. Cliff.
Ah, yeah, I hear his man. His name is Stevie Bandwagons. That's his name.
Winner, chicken
bandwagon.
all right. What's more important is what hockey team you follow, and it better be the Rangers.
Oh, it is the right. Yeah, that's
Okay.
You got me on
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's
it.
Because then I would pull the plug on this shit. There ain't no Islander fans coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, Islander fan.
Who, me? No, hell no.
No, Louis is a big Ranger fan, buddy.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is what we got. You always have to have this on deck for Lou when the Rangers are playing. Gotta have that ready to go.
Love it.
Cool. Oh, so dude, when did you take the test? You got on the 94. That's probably Louis' list, right? Rough,
Yeah,
that's your list?
86 it was December 86 something. It took 6.5 years to get
7
on.
years it took. Yeah.
Wow. What were you doing in the meantime?
Oh Jesus, I hate to say it, I was a cop.
You were
What?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Not NYPD. I was in a cop in the town I grew
In
up
the mall.
in. Yeah.
What? He was a mall cop. Where were you?
all blurred.
Full block.
Where were you a cop? I missed it. I was trying to get my line out. I'm sorry. What?
What's the matter? Is your computer slow?
Oh, that's it. Don't take no shit off of nobody. Oh, very nice. Very nice.
I missed what you say. So where were you a cop?
Ridgefield, New Jersey.
Oh, shit.
Wow. How long did you do there?
7.5 years until I got
Oh,
on.
but none of that time counts, right?
Nothing. Yeah. They got a different pension.
Do you get a pension from them?
I got all my money back because at the time Jersey was 25 to collect, but I just got all my contributions, which I needed because I took a $34,000 pay cut.
Oh yeah, yeah, man.
Damn. That was in the 90s, boo. Things was
80s.
bad. We was
86. I was a cop in 86.
No, I'm saying when you took the job in
in 94.
94,
Yeah.
I think we were making 6,000 or
20
I
26,000.
don't think it was that much. Yeah, I was making like 68,000 to Con Ed, and I went to making like 27,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, my last full year, I was I made 62,000, and then went down to 28,000.
Yeah.
So
You weren't married yet, were you?
It wasn't 2 weeks in the fire department. So,
Yeah.
But you know what, bro? At the end of the day,
oh, happy as a clam, man. Best job in the world.
your old man was probably happy, right, bro?
My dad cried when I got the letter. Yep.
No
Wow.
shit. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Still
No other
around,
brothers or
man?
anything?
There's a picture. Hey, Pete, there's a picture of my dad
In the new batch that you
the
sent?
new batch. Yeah.
It's just
Steve,
you
you
and
still
your...
around?
My dad, yeah.
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 Hold
Oh,
on, I
good
think
for
I
him.
got it.
Actually,
It's in front of
I
the
think my
rig,
mom's
right?
watching
Is
right
this
now,
the
but
one?
My dad, yeah.
There you
That's
go.
it. Yeah, that was my
Nice.
last night when I retired. So,
Really?
Shout out to your old man. That's awesome, man.
yeah.
That's
Must
great,
be-
man.
Must have
That's
been
so
a
funny
great
to
feeling.
being 43 when that's where you guys used to go, right? Is that what you were saying
But-
before?
Yeah, so my dad was hanging out in 43 for like 30 years. I actually had a picture of him on the wall where they had all the members.
Yeah.
They had a picture. They had a picture of Joe the Gypsy. They called him. So,
How did you get that name, bro?
I think it was because like they thought he had no home or something.
I was gonna say, maybe mom is watching. Maybe you should tell us how he got that name. And you didn't try to get. I mean, did you purposely try to get to 43, or it just happened?
No, you know what? I actually tried to avoid going there just because my dad was such a fixture there. I wanted to kind of make my own way.
Hey,
And
look, it's a
when I-
Gypsy's kid.
Oh my! Well, those guys are
They
all gone.
they called me Gypsy Junior when I was a kid.
Tawny folk.
Yeah, actually, the first time I ever hung out there, I was 16 years old. When my dad's, but Richie Goldstein, there's a picture of him in there too. Hopefully, we get it. But the first time I hung out, I was 16. I was 16 years old, and one guy there was he was a probie. Buzzard, they called him. When I became a lieutenant, he was still a fireman there. Him and another guy from the truck. So I walked in there like, "We know you since you're 16, kid."
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so you go to engine 63 though first, right? Tell us about 63, bro.
Yeah, that's a story too. Louis, what class were you in?
May of 93.
90. All right. So yeah. So I was my class was supposed to be the last class off of that list, I think. But you remember when Safer came in? It was like the class before me. Yeah. And he liked new contracts. I got a phone call. A week before I graduated probie school. I just got off the phone with Fellini. You're going to 42 engine. I'm like, yeah, 42 engine. And then the order came out, and I was like, 63. They paid. Holy shit.
Kicking ass now.
Little did I know, that I couldn't wait to get out of there back then, go to 41 and do fire duty, but 63 and 59, I'm sorry, 39.
39, 15, right,
yeah.
right.
63, 39 truck tiller, busiest tiller in the Bronx.
I was a single truck at one time, right?
Was it the only tiller in the Bronx?
The only tiller in the Bronx, yeah. And then they put him in. Yeah, I mean, now they're killing it up there now. So
there he goes.
Ariel Jackson said all the Jersey guys are watching.
The Jersey guys. I wanted to do a shout out to them too. Yeah.
Cool, the Jersey boys.
Not for
I
nothing,
think
bro, but
there's
you
a-
look exactly the same in this picture.
Oh, thanks, pal. I wish I could say the same about you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's all right.
And you know what?
I had
Not for
to-
nothing.
I had
You
to
ain't
cut
no
paper out.
5'7", bro. Not for nothing. You ain't no 5'7", bro.
Yeah, you're not even making the window
I
on
told
that.
you.
on the
Yeah,
rig.
come
I
on, bro.
was.
Here you
Hell no.
these are your Jersey boys, right? Right
Yeah,
here.
there's some Jersey boys there. Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
They don't
With
miss
a,
the
Nice.
with a
meals, those guys,
Massachusetts
huh?
guy and a Florida guy mixed in there too. So
All right, there you go. They fight fire in
Sweet.
Jersey too. That's what we
Yeah.
heard.
yeah.
Nice.
So did you go to any work over there when you were in 63, bro?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It was, pick up, but a lot of second and third do stuff. 62 engine was right down the road, and they were doing about 6,000 runs a year. So
That's crazy. Right? Look at that rig, man. What a rig.
yeah, I love
thing's
that
awesome.
one. Man, that old
Bro,
stuff.
that looked like our first squad rig.
It is.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the rig.
Yeah, that's
It's an 88
the
Mac?
booster-
What is that? Is that an
booster wheel
88
in the
Mac?
back. What's that?
Is that an 88 Mac?
I think that's an 83. Mac.
Yeah.
Petey, zoom in on
I
the
don't know if
number
you
on
can
the front
see it,
there.
if you
Oh,
can
I got you.
zoom in on the
No,
number.
To the left.
to the left. Yeah.
86.
Oh, 86. Yeah.
86 Mac. Yeah, it looks a lot like the first Mac, first squad rig that we had. We had the only old Mac when the squads came online.
Well, we had one of those in 41 when I got there. The one with the high sides, the 89s.
The green one wasn't there when you got there?
No, the green one was gone when I got there. But there's a picture of
You missed the green one.
41s. Yeah, there's a picture of 41 in there, I think, Pete.
Chief
I
Kleehouse right
gotcha.
off the bat said 86. It's like this.
2
Is it-
seconds.
yeah,
He knows.
He knows.
41. Is it in the new batch?
it's just it's a picture of the old.
Oh, what are we looking
Yeah.
for? The house?
41's
no,
rig.
Oh, 41's
missed-
rig. Oh, okay. Stand by. Well, I know I have this, but
Yeah.
I'll find the rig.
Oh,
Just give me a bit.
Yeah, dude, you take that helmet off, you're maybe 5'6" max. Don't give me no 5'7" shit, bro.
No, he didn't say 5'7". He said 5'6" and 3/4.
You
I said
guys.
that's why I asked you when I was on the job. I was 5'7". Now I'm 5'6" and 3/4.
He shrunk a quarter.
Yeah, that was no 5'7" right there, bro. I'm sorry.
So, Stevie,
Listen.
when you were there, go ahead.
Coobs, I'm still taller than you. All right, you're looking by a half an inch.
You and 400 million other people, bro.
No, it's more than 400.
That's not a great accomplishment.
It's like 4.5 billion.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, you consider the Asian.
Yeah. Oh, true. Good point. That's a billion right
So,
there.
but the truck wasn't in there when you were in there, right? It was a single engine?
No, it was just the engine in the battalion. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Did you do your old 30-day detail? What did you do 30-day
No,
detail?
I never wound up doing a 30-day detail for some
What?
reason. They never did. Yeah, they never did that when I was there. So I just wound up staying in the engine the whole time. So
So you went there, you said, "How you doing, boys? My name is Steve. I won't be here long." So yeah.
oh, I hate it was and I hate to say it like that. I knew a lot about the job from hanging out, and I went there looking for something, and that wasn't it, at the time.
Yeah.
But man, to go back there now, I mean, they're the fire duty and the people there, and it was kind of almost
Well,
like
they're up by 61. 61 runs with them.
well,
No,
61's a squad
they
to
go
them,
there,
yeah,
but
but
they're
61
all the way
is a
north,
little
Kevin.
further south.
That's
They're
what
right
I
on
mean.
the
No,
border.
61's
Actually-
their squad, right?
Yeah, 63
They're
and
not
39 are the most northern company on the east side of the Bronx.
But they're
And they're doing a
on
lot
the
of work?
opposite end.
Oh, killing it.
Really?
Yeah. They're doing a lot of work up there.
Tell me, 61's doing more work than 41 now.
I'm sorry.
61's doing more work than 41 now.
No, 63.
Oh, I know what you're
Are
saying.
you
but
talking about 61?
I'm talking about 61 going to more jobs than 41 now.
Are they? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm asking you. You told me that 63's killing it.
Oh yeah, so I'm sure they are then. A lot of private dwellings up there. It's like you guys in Queens. How many more people can you get in a private dwelling?
5
6.
more,
Five.
yeah.
At least 5 more.
At least.
All right. So what? How did you get up to 41, bro? And
Oh,
because they weren't
I
even a
know,
squad
man.
then. They were an enhanced engine, right?
Oh,
And
I know
the
how he
extension.
did it.
Yeah,
Oh,
let
how
me
did you
hear.
do it, roughly? How'd that work, Ruff?
He had to take it all, bro.
You did?
He had to gurgle the whole thing.
And then he went right after. Yeah, bro.
I did. Oh, Christ. Look, this is coming on. All right,
What?
so Pete, I'll do the first part. You do the to die. You ready? This is how Stevie got to 41.
Go for it.
No, that's not how we did it.
No.
All right,
So Coops, how'd you get to 288?
Captain Fairy sent me there. Not
Go,
my brother.
yeah.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, he thought you were squad material. That's why he sent you over there.
Oh, look at you, right? Oh.
Hey, listen, that's my guest.
Look at
I got a palm tree with the guest. I mean, I got a palm tree with the guest.
Oh, I see how that works. All right.
My dad's it was really hard to get out of there. They, when I went to 63, like I said, Safer was, I think it was his second, just a couple months of him being commissioner, and he was putting people where all the high overtime was, because they were still doing battalion overtime. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And there was a lot of overtime up in the 15th battalion. So it was like a chore to get me into the Bronx. I guess I was supposed to go to 2 truck down in Manhattan because I was living in Queens at the time. And then I kind of messed up the story a little bit there, but my dad's best friend, I call him my uncle. He was able to get me to 41. He talked to Jack Spillane, who was the captain at the time, and it was actually easier to go to 41 than it was to get transferred.
So you went there on a skin?
I went there on a skin, yeah, and was there I think it was like 9 months or so. I went there just shy of 2 years on the job, which was I didn't belong there, buddy. I didn't belong there. I got super lucky, and I got to learn from some of the best fucking guys in the job. Man. They were.
Yeah, who was
All right, listen, wait a minute. I got to stop you for a second. Before we go to 41, I'm going to play police detective here, Ruffy. All right? Because I don't know if you picked this up yet. Did you pick this up?
Go ahead.
He was a cop in Jersey, right? But he was going to go to 2 truck because he was living in Queens.
No, I picked that up.
3111 37th Avenue.
Oh, okay, yeah. Right. What is it, a UPS box?
I was living in a van down by the river.
Yeah, that is kind of in the van. I was just there the other day. It is kind of a van down by the river. Still.
Yeah. And now tell us about the guys in 41 when you got there, bro. Because they were just, tell us the difference between when they became a squad and when they were an enhanced engine. They're basically doing the same thing, right?
It was exactly the same thing when I got there. It's it was everything on the department orders said rescue 1 through 5, squad 1, and enhanced engine 4-1. And when I first got there, it was it was just fire duty. We weren't doing the technical rescue stuff yet. We weren't doing hazmat yet. It was just it was fire duty, and it was freaking awesome. I went to 6 jobs on my first night tour.
You had to be taking that whole thing.
What's that?
I said you had to take the whole thing to get it to that spot, man. Are you kidding me? Holy shit, man. Who was the bosses there? Who was the bosses?
It was Jack Spillane was the captain. Dennis Moranchik, who was an old 19 truck guy, was a lieutenant. Chris King, who wound up becoming the captain.
Great.
And Charlie Schmidt, who was a fireman in Squad 1.
I know a little guy. Right? He was another little guy.
Yeah, Charlie MacGyver. Yeah.
Charlie MacGyver.
He was a genius, man. He made all kinds of tools.
Yeah. Now, Squad 1 only had first 2 boxes and then 1075. Did you guys have the same, or you guys?
No, we had first, second, and third 2 boxes like you guys.
Like we had it now, right?
So close there. Yeah, like 71 engine was 71 and 55 was 5 blocks north and 1 block over.
Right.
60 and 17 was 7 blocks south of us. We were second due 4 blocks away from the firehouse.
Wow.
That place is that area is a shithole now. I know. I remember working up there as a fireman, but
Yeah.
It was a shithole then. I mean, it's still crappy there. I mean, I don't think that place will ever change over there.
Yeah. Yeah. There was, and it, the great thing was that it was so close to Manhattan, so close to Harlem. Half the fire
Yeah, so
duty
you guys
was
were
on
running into
South
Harlem quick,
Harlem,
right?
half of it was in Harlem. Yeah, it was awesome.
How was that going on in Harlem? How were the trucks treat? How that was our issue, right?
It's funny. You had Keith Nicolello.
30 truck. Yeah.
Keith, I know Keith since before I got on the job, and when I was a cop, his uncle was a councilman in the town I worked in, but he was always trying to get come to 59, and then I got to 41. I saw him one day, and he never talked to me again.
Send him a hat. He likes 41 hats.
He's
Hardcore
awesome.
right there, bro. That's hardcore.
Yeah, 30 truck hated us, man. They absolutely hated us.
Well,
So-
you're
Hey, listen,
encroaching.
Captain Everett said it, right? A bunch of guys have said it. Wherever you're at, that's the best place, right? So that's it. Until you go somewhere else, like
What was the best company you ever worked in? The last
that's
one.
it. That's it. The last one. Until you get that's it. So he had all the pride, right? He wasn't going to talk to you, What'd you rather have, right? A sister in a whorehouse than a brother in 41,
Brother in a
probably he would
squad.
say, right? Yeah.
Well, that was the other thing. Some of them refused to call us squad. It was Chief Kilker, old-time 6th Division chief. It's funny because it would be Engine 4-1 on the department radio, and then when we got to on the fire ground, it would be squad. So, Division 6 to Engine 4-1, Squad 4-1.
I wouldn't answer.
Division 6
they
to
did
Engine
that.
4-1, Squad 41.
Yeah. Torture them. Yeah.
Now, was that before we became a squad? Before the squads came out?
Yeah, that was 96. March of 96. I got there, and then July 1st of 98 was when you guys came on board.
So
and
when they were, go ahead.
The funny part, I don't know if you guys, I think you might have talked about this before, but when the order came out on July 1st, Squad 41 wasn't on it. It was all in
Really?
It was 18, 61, 252, 270, and 288 will now be squad companies. And July 2nd, they came out with the order that said, oh, yeah, N41.
Oh, by the way.
Really?
We're like the junior squad then.
And since July 2nd, Keith Nicolello has not spoken with you.
He got softer in his old age, though. He
was angry. Yeah, well, listen, we all do.
Me,
We all do, right?
Keith is awesome, man. He's true salty fireman, man. So,
Who was some of the guys? I know Gandiello was there, right? And Gabby. Who else was there?
The guys, and all these guys wound up going to squad. Steve Torelli wound up being a lieutenant in Rescue 1. Paulie Solman was there. He went to Rescue Paulie 2 and then wound up becoming who went to Rescue 3.
28 truck, right? They went to 28.
He went to 28 truck, yeah, and then he went to 2. Was Chris King was a lieutenant. He wound up being a captain at 3. And, Scotty Maxwell was a.
That picture that I posted of you, that picture I posted of you, Scotty's in that picture in the background, but he looks very young too, man.
Yeah,
He was always young. You two guys were always like that, young-looking guys.
Yeah, and that's got Billy Walsh in it too. Like that. People,
that's right.
Look, I gotta say, you guys are doing this whole thing is freaking awesome, man. And the audience that you have and what it is that you're doing, it's amazing. And every time, guys down here in South Carolina are like, hey, you know those guys? I'm like, yeah, I fucking know those guys.
We got a picture.
Hear that a lot.
Petey, you got a picture of the Captain Walsh with the guys there, I think.
Is that in the
in front of
new
the rig?
batch? Or
I should be in the first batch. Yeah, it's a group shot.
Okay, in 41, 40. Okay, squad.
Chief Lafamina said Citarella too. Was that right?
John Citarella was John went to 252 first. And then he wound up going to 3. And then Gandiello, Joe Gandiello.
I love that guy. Yeah, I'm going to try and get him on the show. I liked him a lot. Yeah.
Louis Torres. I was a fireman with Louis Torres.
Oh, that's right. Louis. We got a picture of Louis too. We got a picture of Louis too.
3-2 and Louis.
That's right there on the left.
Yeah, that's Louis, and then me, and then Eddie Walsh, and then Captain Vimero, and Pat Hickey with hair.
Pat Hickey, man. Look
Pat
at that,
Hickey
man.
with hair. Holy shit. Angry man.
Yeah. Oh, that's the old rig, Kev. That's
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
there you
yeah.
go.
That's the one he was
the old
looking at.
squad rig.
Peter,
Yeah,
yeah,
so-
that one right there, number 5, I think it is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
Walsh
sir.
there. That's
Yeah,
Angry
so, again-
Beltrani.
Yeah, Joe Beltrani was a lieutenant.
Joe
in 61. Kevin Quinn wound up becoming a lieutenant in 61. Kevin Murphy.
Murphy.
Scotty Maxwell in the back there. Tommy Collins in the forefront there. He was killed on 9/11. And then Billy Walsh and Eddie Walsh, and then me. This is funny. Years ago, there was I'll mention him by name because he's Danny Alfonso, right? He used to hang out at Rescue One all the time. I think he was related to Dennis Mojica. And I got detailed down to Rescue One day, and and he was riding and taking pictures and stuff. And I made a joke. I'm like, hey, when you're tired of taking pictures of emergencies, why don't you come and hang out in the Bronx and you can take some fire photos, right? So he lived in the Bronx. He lived on a concourse not far away from us. So he'd come and he'd hang out and he'd ride with us. And I know Billy Walsh was talking about this fire. This is a second alarm over in Harlem. And then we went from there. We went to a job on Webster Avenue in the Bronx. And I remember this fire. I was driving that night, but Joey D and I wound up crawling down into the basement. And Walsh came in another way. He came in the exterior way. He found the fire. But then we went back to this fire. There was a rekindle. No such thing as a rekindle. But
don't give it 1075.
yeah, Paul's the arsonist. You believe they lit that fire again right after we left?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, that was a good night though. So Danny wrote, he's on a job now. He's in 75 engine. He was a Bronx dispatcher, and then he was in 303 for a while, and now he's in 75 engine. But Danny rode with us for years, and he's got a lot of pictures of us. And you got the dog, Pete?
Sure do. Let me.
So Danny has 2 photo books out. It's Big Apple Fire Photography.
Oh yeah. He
shameless
sends me
plug.
stuff, I think. Yeah, I think he sends me stuff.
Yeah. And out of all the pictures that Danny has of me, this is the one he's got to put of me saving the freaking dog.
Oh,
At least it's not a mannequin.
At least it's not a cat in a tree, bro.
No.
Hold on.
I got one Cinderella story, bro.
Yeah.
He's a good dude, but he's covering the 288 one time, bro. And I don't know if you remember, we used to have the reputation of running up and down the 16th flight
with John
Hopkins.
John Hopkins, yeah.
So he's working. I'm driving him the whole time he's there, and every morning I take him over to the projects and we run the stairs. So every morning I see him, doing one of these. So I come out one day and I'm all sweaty. He goes, "Really? This is training? What are you going to learn from this?" I go, "What am I going to learn from this? I'm going to learn that I'm going to pass you by at about the 10th floor or somewhere up there, bro." He laughed. He's a good dude.
John, there's so many guys that we're in a group text from those guys from 41 back then, and I texted them the other day and said I was going to be on the show, and I just to respecting their privacy, if guys don't want me to mention any names, but the guys I worked with in 41 when I first got there was unbelievable. I can't, that they made me who the fireman that I am today, just because of the amount of knowledge that those guys had.
When you got there, Stevie, how did it feel about a guy with 2 years?
That question.
Yeah. It's funny you say John Cinderella, and I just spoke to John at the 20th anniversary. And every time I see John, I thank him because I really owe a lot in my career to him and some other people. But John was the same way, because John was, I think, was a probie or just off probation when they reopened 41. Because the story about how they became enhanced engine. So Koch,
I know.
Right. 1989, Mayor Koch closed the firehouse. So make a long story short, they reopened it in 1990, and that's when they made him the enhanced engine. I know Chief Kleehouse is on this a lot too. He was one of the lieutenants when they first reopened.
Right.
But Jim, John Citarella wound up coming over as again, I said, he was just off probation or pro, but so John was awesome, and not to say that the other guys weren't, but I got some slack. Like, Chris King hated me. but I loved working with him, but Chris was he was an old school guy, Brooklyn fireman and 42 truck, and he didn't think I belonged there along with a lot of other people. And they were right. They were absolutely right that I didn't belong there, but I'm so glad that I stuck it out and learned from those guys. Quick story with Chris didn't talk to me forever, and again, serious old school guys. And we went to a job. It was like the last block in our response area. It was like 80th and Madison down in Manhattan. They sent us on phone calls. It sounded good. They gave it 1075 before we even got on the rig. It was a second alarms. We were driving down there. Third by the time we got there. And
wow.
Me, Chris King and Steve Turley. And we wound up getting a line on the original fire floor. And but anyway, we came out of that job. We got our asses kicked. As Paulie, someone used to say, we got our balls knocked in last night. So the balls kicked in. So, but we came out of the fire building, and Chris just came over and good job, kid. And I was like, yeah,
that's it. That's all you needed. That's it.
That's all I needed, man. The praise that you get from your peers in the fire service, that's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, man.
And like we say all the time, it's very, and I'm sure it is around the country, but in New York, for you to get something like that, right? We never, and that's why I think the show, when I talk to guys to come on the show, that's the first thing I say is we never talk, you might congratulate somebody here or there a little bit, but it's never like that. That's what you're going to get. Yeah. Nice job, kid. Or something like that. Right.
Yeah.
Joe Kearney had that in his book.
That's what you were
nice job,
you're expected
kid.
to do. Yeah.
Especially from a guy who didn't talk to you for a couple of years, bro. That was like,
I did everything to kiss up to him, and it was, there were a couple guys, again, Tony LaMagna was an original engine 4-1 guy, and but I don't blame him. I didn't belong there. I really didn't, but I had the opportunity and I stuck it out, and man, I'm so grateful for everything that you did.
How long do you think it took before you felt like you did belong there?
Well, not about belonging there. I think this is just about
Chris King said, I didn't hate you, Steve. He's in the chat.
I feel like you're always, you always want to get better. So you always, who's in there? You got me? I think I lost you for a second.
No, we got you.
Yeah, you're on a little delay, but Chris King is in the chat. He said, I didn't hate you, Steve.
Love you, Chris. So, yeah, but I mean, you always, I think that's what I learned from these guys, the humbleness, though. These guys were phenomenal firemen, but they never pounded their chests, and if you always thought that you can get better, you always got, even like I had 15 years when I got promoted, and I didn't think I was ready to be a lieutenant, just because, the day you can't learn something is the day you retire, is what they say, right?
Yeah. No doubt about that.
No.
Yeah. Did you feel like they were always watching in the beginning? Like the guys were.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
Oh yeah. They would drill me all hours of the night. You remember Eddie Diatri?
Yes,
oh my God! Of course.
I believe that drill he gave me and him one time.
So we still had a lot of vacants. Down there. So Eddie brought us. He was covering in 41, and he brought us to a vacant to do some drills. And did he ever tape your eyes closed?
Yeah, that's what he did. He taped our eyes shut with the electrical tape.
Eyes closed. What? Yeah, he said if with the pressure on your eyeballs, it would increase your breathing and something. And it was some
oh my God.
Yeah, it's really God bless him. But he put me through some drill at some vacant, and it was not long after.
So that was a common thing. Me and Coos, we just came from basically a first through third alarm as a squad. We were coming back from a box and saw the fire off the LIE. And I had yelled up to him. I'm like, hey, Lou, it looks like there's some smoke over there.
Yeah.
So he looks, he's like, get off the highway. So we get off, and now we're going down Junction.
He gave the second alarm on arrival.
He gave a second alarm on arrival. It was like
as he yelled, this looks like a 2-hood job, boys.
Yeah, so we go through the job, right? The whole thing, break our ass, like you said, an hour, whatever. We get back on the rig. As we're driving back, we're thinking, we're soaking wet. It's pouring rain. He's like, is that a vacant building right there? He pulls off. Same thing. It's the same story. He pulls off. Yeah. Next thing you know, he's like, stretch 2.5. We stretched to 2.5.
Wait. By yourself.
Yeah. Stretch the 2.5 into this.
And operate.
And then by yourself.
My word.
Then we packed it up and went back. And then he did the thing with the tape.
But first he took us up on the roof and made us cut the roof.
Yeah. After we just came out of a third alarm.
And operated the 2.5 in and out by himself. He's like, bring it back, pull it forward. Bring it back, pull it forward. Then he had to go up on the roof, cut the roof. Then we went back to the firehouse. We did the tape guy thing. Yeah.
You know what? There was so many vacants down there. We were able to every night we were cutting the roof for the vacant. Excuse me. We were doing searches in the bunk room, or we were doing that. There's actually a picture of me up on the roof doing a roof rope evolution.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, but and that's how old I was, because we were still wearing rubber boots back then.
You still got hair like that?
Yeah, I not really, but that's why I'm wearing a hat. I had a nice hair on me, but I had rubber boots there because everybody hadn't gone to the leather boots yet. If you were assigned to an engine, you had to have the rubber boots, and I was technically assigned to 63 engines. So, but what a difference in those boots, man. Yeah. See, that's how old we are, Roofy.
That's right, baby.
We had pull-up boots.
Holy
At least we could say we had it for a short time.
And if Cortez is watching, you see you pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Those are the bootstraps right there. Very nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
I got to tell my other Diactry story, bro, really quick.
Well, hurry up, because we got a couple of jobs we got to talk about.
We do. But this is quick. I think it might have been that day, or he might have been covering there for a little bit, right, Roof? You know, he had forearms. He had forearms like tree trunks, right? And he had that Asian writing or whatever he had on his forearm, right? So he's doing paperwork at the desk in the office, and I'm just mopping the floor, minding my own business, right? And they go, hey Lou, what does that mean on your forearm there, right? He goes like this. He's got the pencil in hand. He goes. He stands up and he goes, hey brother, let me tell you something. These are my rules to live by. And if you had to live by my rules, you'd probably be fucking dead. And I was like, okay. I'll see you later.
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
That guy was a tank, bro. I mean,
yeah, man.
He was crazy, man.
Ariel Jackson in the super chat is saying Super Steve is the man. Ask him if a hook has ever put out a fire.
We fight with the truck guys all the time. Squads, it's an engine, and I always thought, out of all the guys that we worked with, some guys wound up going to rescue and stuff. And I always loved what the squads did, because you were able to do engine stuff too, and I loved being able to do that. But the banter back and forth with the engine and the truck guys, you were in 263 and 117. Was that what you were, Louis?
I was in the truck, yeah. Mm-hmm.
In the truck, yeah.
Oh yeah. Our motto was take 2 cans.
The tones go off, engine turns out, truck turns over.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So, but we always used to say, I got it with the can. Knob's the job, kid. I never put two rooms out with a hook.
Yeah.
All right, so we got 3 jobs we want to talk about here, Stevie. Which one you want to talk about first?
Whatever you want.
What was the first one? Was it the Car Plunk job?
I hate calling it the Black Sunday.
Yeah.
It was like calling a trade center ground zero. It was that was like a media term, and I never really liked that one. So
let's talk about the job from your perspective.
Yeah. I actually spoke to Jeff earlier today. He just had surgery.
Yes.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah. He sounded good. tired but good. But anyway, that it was the blizzard the night before. It was like 18 inches of snow on the ground, and it was. We went as a squad like we normally do. We reported in with tools and stuff, and they were having the whole story with that fire, having the water issues and everything, frozen hydrant in front of the building. But they wound up giving us assignment to stretch a third line, and at some point we were told to leave that line because there were people evacuating on a front fire escape. You wouldn't even know that there was a fire in the front of this building. Everything was all in the rear, and I was up on the fire escape when the Mayday came in. So I came down and I started making my way down the 2 side, and right at the 2-3 corner, I do a big drill with this fire. The anniversary was just a week and a half ago. But if you listen to the audio, you can hear the one officers from 56 truck. He's yelling 35 to the rear, roof rope on the roof, 35 to the rear. Yeah. And I'm running down the Bravo. They call them letters down here. Sorry, they call them stations down here. But I'm trying to get back into northern. Yeah. So I'm running down the 2 side of the building, and I'm looking at him at the 2-3 corner, and he's looking up, making that transmission, and then this big black blob came down about 10 feet in front of me. I'm like, that's really weird. They're overhauling already. And then as I got closer, I realized that it was a fireman. And it wound up being Jeff, because Jeff wound up falling 1 floor less than everybody else.
Yeah, he swung on the rope.
Because he swung, with Joey. And I grabbed Jeff by the shoulder straps because I just wanted to get him help. You want to get him out of there. That whole fight, flight, or freeze thing. Learned a lot about me from this fire too. But I grabbed him, and he let out this horrific scream and a couple of curse words. And I'm like, all right, he's alive. Let me go around and check the other side. I run around to the exposure 3 side, and something I'll never forget is the contrast between the 5 guys laying in the back and all that snow, and just hearing the pass alarms go off and so I wound up going into the back, and the first guy I got to was Myron. So and Gene Solowski was right next to him. So Jimmy DeShulo, you guys remember? Jimmy's still in 41. You remember Jimmy?
If I see him, probably.
Yeah, Jimmy's a paramedic, and he was about 3 weeks into the company. He was brand new in the company, and Jimmy got to Gene Solowski first, and Jimmy did a jaw thrust on Gene, and I watched Gene start to breathe again. Jimmy saved Gene's life. I did a jaw thrust on Myron, and nothing happened. So but we got him on the back board and brought him out front, and then I came back around the second time. I wound up coming. You got me?
Yeah, we got you.
You got me?
Yep.
Yep.
We got you.
I wound up coming to John Ballou, and that was, you guys know Andy Braun. You remember Andy Braun too? He wound up going rescue too.
Yep, I know him.
He wound up going over the side on the rope at that fire to try and get the guys. And by the time he came down and he was down me, we were both over Ballou, and I froze there for a minute, and Andy's like, Steve, snap out of it. So I got my wits about me again, and we put him on a backboard and pulled him out. And I always questioned if I didn't do enough for Ballou, and it really troubled me for a really long time. And however shit like this happens, I'm down here in South Carolina now, and we had a guy from North Charleston take his own life on September 10th on 2020. And a couple months after that, a guy from the Charleston Fire Department took his own life. And they called the IFF, the peer support teams to come in. Well, it just so happens 2 guys from New York come down. And went out to dinner with them, the one night, and I'm sitting in between the 2 of them, talking to my people. My accent starts to come out again, and talking about that fire. And the guy sitting to the right of me was Myron's best friend. And the guy sitting to the left of me is Dan Ballou, John's brother.
Holy shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, after all those years, I was able to finally say something to Dan, and he's like, "Man, you did everything you could," but it was a little weight off my shoulders being able to, because I really second guessed, for a long time. Could I have done more for John? And so that fire screwed me up for a while.
I think you're going to always have, especially in that scenario, right? I mean, again, at that time, you know a little bit, but you don't know much, right? In a trauma situation like that, like you said, that kid. I had heard that guy saved his life because his head was basically not connected to his body by bone, right? It was just by his
by his spinal cord. Yeah, he had an internal decapitation. His spinal column was severed. So if Jimmy packaged him, he packaged him so well when they got him to the hospital. They took the collar off, and I believe his head turned 90 degrees. So,
but like you're saying, like here's a guy, like if you just wanted to do something, it wouldn't have worked out. You wouldn't have worked. He would have killed that guy. So I mean, that's something that you have to think about as well. Is these guys just jumped out of a 6-story building and landed 7 stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's an incredible thing, man. To hear that. I just had gone home that, being in 290 103. I had just drove home that morning in the snow. I had just got off, and that job, Richie's job, came in, a couple hours that morning, right? 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever it was. And I went right back to the firehouse because I heard something about the Bronx, and then literally right after that, I heard the thing about Richie. So.
That was the weird thing. We're in the firehouse. We finally got back to the firehouse, and then we hear the 4.5s come over, the voice alarm, and we're figuring it's for one of them. And they're like, department regrets the line duty death of firefighter Rich Sclafani, ladder 103. And we're like, what the, where did that come from? We had our own things going on up in the Bronx, so we had no idea that there was another fire in Brooklyn.
I mean, how many times have you listened to that audio? I mean, we've listened to that audio so many times, just to try and get a feel.
Were you able to take anything from that fire, Steve? To the next time, or something to learn from that fire that you brought with you for the rest of your career?
For me, I think and it goes back to Jimmy, and I think that. The guys in the rescue school wound up. I'm not a big acronym guy, but they came out with one, FAIR, FAIR, and it's what you do when you have to address the down firemen. Address the fire first, then their air supply, then their injury, and then you can remove them. And that was typical at that fire. Was that for Rich, they had to put fire out to get him. These 6 guys were outside the fire building. You didn't have to address their air supply because they're outside the fire building. You had to address their injury before you could remove them. And something happened. I don't know. A short time after that, I don't know how long it actually was, but a guy fell out of a towel out of bucket in a 44 truck. He fell about 20, 25 feet. And I wasn't working for this fire, but again, the drill that we learned about it. When the guys ran over to the guy who fell out of the bucket, everybody wants to do something. You got 4 firemen grabbing an appendage.
Yeah, they want
to go
different ways. Different ways, right?
And from what I told this story, Mickey Conboy was like, all right, everybody stop. You get the backboard, you get the oxygen, you get the collar, you do this, and he gave everybody a job. And everybody was able to concentrate, but that's somebody needs to take charge in that. It was a crazy scene in the back of that building that day. So it was out of control.
Hey, Steve, Chief Norman is in the chat. He said to rest easy. You could read it there.
He said, rest easy, Steve. That was all in God's hands. I was in the ER and never expected some to make it upstairs to the operating room. You did everything any of us could have.
Oh, thank you, Chief. I appreciate that.
That's powerful, man. And Chief, thank you for chiming in there. We appreciate you. Wow.
Yep. He will be on the 28th, Chief Norman. We'll get him on the 28th. So, do you want to talk about the Deutsche Bank now, Stevie? Because
How about we have a drink?
okay, yeah. You know what? Why don't we check our computers? Why don't we check our computers?
Cheers, everybody.
Salute. They're the brothers.
Mhm.
Well, just before that one, Coobs, it was that was January of 2005. August of 2006, I was paying back a mutual in Rescue 3, and they had the Car Plunk Riley fire. You know, and I know
tell us
Scotty
about
Max,
that. 'Cause I actually responded to that too. So tell us about from your perspective, what happened.
Yeah. Well, again, to make light of, I'm fumbling my words here for a minute. Sorry, guys, but
Okay.
That's okay.
I'm honored to be here because of all the people you've had on the show. I always feel like I was, a guy in the background, and I make a joke that, I never really had an impact on anybody's career, because when Maxwell was talking about that fire, he didn't know that I was working. I'm like, yeah, it was me.
He's like, yeah, some little guy there. I don't know.
He mentioned everybody, and he's like, yeah, I don't even know who the other guy was. And I'm yelling at the screen. It was me. It was me, Scott. Yeah,
he was looking over you, bro.
Yeah. I'll take that from you, Kev. It's all right.
Thank you.
All right.
Gotta get everyone I can, bro.
Yeah, I was one of the worked in mutual in Rescue 3 that next day. I worked the night before, and actually Billy Ryan, you guys know Billy Ryan, right?
Of course.
Yep.
Of course.
Yeah. So Billy Ryan was still a fireman, and he was working in 41 the night before. I'm like, yeah, I'm paying back. I think it was Bobby Anderson, a mutual, and we were talking about the Black Sunday fire, and Billy Ryan was like, man, I can't believe, what happened, the things that you guys, that's really screwed up. And the next, I work in Rescue 3 the next day, and we're going to this job, in this 99-cent store, and what happens in a couple hours later. But, that was another one of those fires where, I talk a lot when, I was doing training down here when I came down to South Carolina. I coordinated a recruit school down here for the Charleston area, and to try not to make them fire stories, you try and get a lesson out of it, right? And this was one of those fires where I always talk about everything that I learned. 75% of what I learned sitting at the kitchen table by listening to the guys talk about the jobs that they went to the night before. And one of those things that I remember was that, somebody would say, when you got a top floor fire, you want to vent the roof, you want to know where to cut, you either look for, in the wintertime, the melting snow or bubbling tar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and that's how you know where to cut over the fire. Well, we were working at Rescue 3. I had the outside with Richie Bailey, and 41 was on the roof with us. Mickey Comboy was working too. Excuse me. And I finished cutting a hole in the roof. There's a picture of that, Pete. The vent hole.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually not the vent hole, but there's a whole story behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the right in the bottom right-hand corner, that's the hole that I cut. And as I took a couple steps back, my foot sunk into the tar on the roof.
Ooh.
You can see the imprint of my foot.
I see it, yeah, man.
Yeah, right down in here.
So my foot sunk into the tar, and I'm like, wow, that's really bad. That's not supposed to happen. This is, and my mind is going through a million things, and I'm like, I got to tell somebody because this isn't good. This is not supposed to happen. And Mickey Comboy was standing right behind me, and I turned around to tell Mickey. He was looking at through the tick, and I said, hey, Lou, and he went, everybody off the roof, and he had just seen something or felt something that he knew wasn't right, and we all got off the roof after that, and then a couple minutes later, the roof collapsed.
Oh,
so yeah, so it was pretty crazy. But
amazing that you had that instinct right when he did, and he called everybody.
I knew something. Yeah, I knew something wasn't up just because of the way my foot sunk into. I wanted to tell somebody, but he saw something totally different. He just had a feeling, and we all got off the roof and went onto the exposure, and the roof wound up collapsing a couple minutes later. So
he saved a few guys there.
Yeah. I tell him that all the time. Yeah. He's another amazing guy. Where I drove him for 7 years. Him and Sean Genovese. You know, before.
He's a great guy too. So yeah,
he's got
great. I love driving this car. That was awesome.
Was he angry years ago too?
Only when I drove him. Yeah. Yeah. I said when I got promoted and wound up going to the field after a week of riding in the right front seat, I called both of them back and I'm so sorry for the way I drove those last years.
I used to tell Sean every time, I'm like, what are you doing, man? Go fishing or something, man. It's like enough. I think he's still doing it, right?
Yeah, him and Mickey, they're all in their 60s.
It's crazy. You know? God bless them. Man.
Yeah.
They love it.
You what did you guys do after did you guys assist in getting, try to find Car Plunk and Riley, or what happened?
What happened is we got off the roof, and then Richie Bailey and I wound up going into the basement. We kind of had the guys were coming in from the first floor into the hole, digging those guys out, and then Richie Bailey and I wound up on the one side of the hole, and it was 99-cent stores with all the stock and everything. It was like digging through sand. Everything. It was pouring rain that day. There's this big hole in the roof. Everybody's like, shut the line down. It's not the line. It's just pouring rain. And you're just trying to move things out of the way. And again, another thing where, like, what could we have done, differently? Could we have, if we went to the left, to the right, would we be able
you can do that all the time, man.
Get to them?
Yeah.
But yeah,
we went to the.
Yeah.
I said we wound up going. We got there. We went through the Bilko door. It was like pea soup coming out of there, and we eventually wound up getting him out. But he was talking to us while we were getting him out. Car Plunk, anyway.
Car Plunk, yeah. He was trying to, from what I heard and later on,
tell us that Riley was below him. Yeah,
he was underneath him. Yeah, and they were giving Car Plunk the face piece from the rip pack, and he kept taking it off, and he wanted to give it to the pro.
He was taking it off his face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shame.
What did you think about that mock-up that they did, Steve? I remember doing that when I came back to soccer.
Oh, yeah, that was awesome, man.
Firefighter removal thing with the water bottles and all that stuff. That was incredible.
Yeah, the week class that we did over.
You would have the Sclafani fire. You would have the fire. The
guy going through the floor. You had a lower guy into the floor.
I say that's the hardest class that we ever took, right? I think that's the hardest class we ever had.
Yep. Yeah, that was tough. And that the
Car Plunk said, we got a ball kicked in, right?
Yeah, that was some week of training, man. That was unbelievable. So and a lot of guys that were at those fires, they built those mock-ups and everything. And
that's what I was asking you. I thought it was, and they had cases and cases and cases. I remember guys of water bottles and stuff there, because guys kept talking about all of the fabric softener and the soap, and everything was slippery, and it was just a disaster, because every time you moved something, everything poured back in, and that's how that was there.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was like. Where Richie Bailey and I were on that one side, it was just like trying to get shit out.
Yeah. And the Sclafani fire, remember they had the heat blowers in your face?
Torpedoes there.
Torpedo heat.
Like right here. The torpedoes like right here.
Yeah. Propane, the salamanders.
Yeah. Whoever came up with that class was great.
Well, that get back to your point, Steve, right? You try and learn when you talk about these jobs, right? How else can you learn unless you go through the steps that guys did at these jobs to try and do better, right? Like, same thing, getting Richie out of those stairs. You had 3-4 of the biggest guys on the job that we have on the job pulling at this guy, and they said he was nailed to the floor. You know what I mean? So we practiced that over and over and over and over again. And that's the best way to I guess honor those guys, is to keep teaching the new guys all that stuff, right? To do that.
That's one of the biggest things. But I think about who you guys worked with. When you guys went to 288, with Cat Murphy,
Frank Molay,
Frank, Hank, and the experience of those guys. that went there. You know, I
Yeah,
mean, for
Fahey,
young
yeah,
guys,
Fahey,
young guys like
quick.
us.
Getting back to what you said, being afraid, like, you know, of King and a bunch of guys.
I didn't
That's
say I
how
was afraid. I didn't say I was afraid. Louis.
Oh boy.
Oh, good for you.
concerned. That's how we were with those guys. There's no.
That's
doubt.
what Chris King is.
You just
another
want to
guy.
make him proud.
I thanked him a million times. You know, as
Yeah.
much as he pushed me hard, he just made me that much.
No
You know,
doubt
and
about it.
all those guys.
You wanted to
did.
make him proud, right? I mean,
You know,
there's
I'm
no
afraid-
doubt that you wanted to make him proud.
Yeah, I'm afraid that I'm not going to mention somebody that had, you know, that I worked with there. That had such
no
an
doubt.
impact on me.
I think he might. I think he might owe it to you that he may have to come on the show now, Steve. Just saying.
LT, to this day, do you feel like you've lived up to what they've set forth for you, that like the standards that they put down? Do you feel like you've been able to carry that and pass that to your men?
I think that's like I said to Lou earlier, is that you know, the humbleness that I learned from those guys. You were always trying to get better, you know, and it's not, if you made a mistake, you know, it's not about what you did wrong. It's about what you can do better next time, you know. And those years I had the you know, excuse me, had the opportunity, if you know, screwed something up a little bit, you can, you know, fix it at the next job, you know.
We talk about that all the time. Where you are, bro, you know, you go into that many fires, you had the opportunity to right something that you did wrong last time, you know, because you're only as good as your last fire, right? And that's why we feel bad for guys today who aren't going through as much work, you know.
There you go, Joel.
That's exactly what you just said, Coobs.
Yeah, Joel. I went to Proby school with Joel.
Never heard of him.
He was the valedictorian. Yeah.
Of course.
Really?
We're gonna get. He's on my list. We're gonna get him. We're gonna get him.
Do they have signal down there in Wanalika, wherever he's from?
Come on, Wanalaya. Come on.
Yeah, where's he from? Somewhere, right? He's probably got a grass skirt on right now. I don't know.
You better have something on his head.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And like SPF.
Keep him
500.
occupied. I got to plug in my phone. I got to find an extension cord. I'm about to die.
Oh my God.
I mean, what are you doing?
I tell the guy to do it prior, for crying out loud.
I did it.
Yeah, I did. That's why I have to find an extension cord now.
You know what would have made that work better is if you had a computer.
Oh, there you go. You know, it never ceases to amaze me, LT, and all you guys, really, Kevin, Lou, how no matter what, you could have been at every single major fire. I don't care if you lived through 10 generations of this, and the guys are always like, not nothing to do with me. It was you know, my lieutenant who taught me everything, or the guys who showed me the way. It's a culture. He's getting muted right away. It's a culture of guys who oh my God, for crying out loud. It's a culture of guys who are humble. It's a humble culture, and it's a culture of guys who are willing to teach and pass on. You know, do you feel like you've left behind a good legacy?
I think that it's funny that you say it like that. Again, I got to go back to the guys that I learned from, you know, and they were able to teach me. You know, none of us made any of this shit up. You know, somebody taught it to us, you know, and we were able to learn from those guys. And if we don't pass it on, you know, you become a senior man, you become an officer. You know, I wound up becoming a training officer down here. If you don't pass that shit on, you know, it's like criminal almost. You know, you could tell somebody something that might save their life one day, and not even know that, you know, just that, you know, hey, yeah, we were at this job once and this happened, you know. That's why
I always, like I told you in the pre-show, the old school tip of the day is my favorite part of the show, and so many of the fans think that's the best part of the show, because you never know if what you're telling them, some stupid little trick or some big, you know, boulder or a little nugget is going to save somebody's life. Yeah.
What you doing, baby? I was
Steve, when you left there, when you got promoted, were you the senior man by then, or?
I had the most time in the company, but there were a couple of guys that had more time on the job than me. So
right, but you basically,
there were two guys that Mike Lindy and Owen McGovern had gotten to 41 about 3 weeks before the 11th. So everybody was gone by the time I got promoted.
Owen texts me all the time. He actually just texted me. He texted me tonight. He said something about that dog picture. They called it the baby lamb. He's out on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, he's in Oregon. Yeah.
Oh, Oregon. So, like, I had the same thing. I got there. I was like third from the bottom when I got to the squad. And when I left, I was a senior guy there. So, what was it like going from that guy who didn't think he even should be there to the guy who was, being the senior man there? What was that like?
It was right. If you go to 41, there's the firehouses have the pictures of all the guys. Well, there's one from 96 when I first got there, and I'm the last guy on the bottom. And then there's another one next to it on the wall. It's from 2006, so 10 years later. I don't think there's a picture of that, Pete.
No, I know. I'm just posting some stuff up while you're telling stories here.
Yeah. And I'm the third guy down, so it was, again, you have this obligation to teach everybody, and I was just to say, especially, being in a special unit, we did all the specialized stuff. You get a new guy in a company, they don't have to know how to tie all those knots and use the systems and do all that stuff just yet. But they better know how to force a door, Right. We're going over to Harlem, and 28 truck and 30 truck are looking over your shoulder.
They got to know the basics.
How to force a door,
basics.
Because they got to be doing and the basics. Yeah, and it's
because when you get up on the roof and you got to go over, and guys are getting a little pig-eyed because they're not 100% sure because they haven't done it. Maybe that's on you now to do that, right?
Yeah, and you just you make it. That's another big thing, that recognition, prime decision making. When I took a step back and my foot sunk, that triggered something. There's an awesome book called On Combat. Colonel Grossman is in it, and it talks about how Pete's into all this stuff. And it's muscle memory. We just have to do things so many times it becomes second nature to you.
And if you don't do it, you just miss it for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, right? What happens?
It's gone.
Perishable skills. Like yeah, perishable skills. And it's funny because all the guys who are in tier 1 units around the world, right? They're specialized just like you guys were in specialized units. Yeah, they may have some cooler equipment and some skill sets that are specialized indeed, but they constantly tell you that what it is a mastery of the fundamentals to a point where they're just so second nature in your body, in your mind, that you can unscrew a cap on a fire hydrant faster than the next guy, better than the next guy.
Hey, we used to do that with our eyes closed.
With your eyes closed.
Be able to do the rope with your eyes closed.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then you get those guys that ask you, a junior guy or as a lieutenant, Lou, like, hey, what made you do that? And you're like, I got to think about that a second. I'm not exactly sure why, but it was the right move. And, you made it.
It's in here somewhere.
Yeah, it's in there somewhere. Yeah, let me go back and get it.
That's great that you guys would break it down that way and think about the why behind the movement. That's excellent.
See, as you get older, you just got to open a few more drawers to find it. You're like, oh, what I put this?
My wife put it somewhere else.
Jen, should we move to the Deutsche Bank?
Yeah, I want to definitely talk about that. That's what I was looking forward to the most. Unfortunately, obviously, but.
Yeah. So again, that fire was August 18, 2007. So it was less than a year after the Car Plunk rally fire. And what happened with that was that we were and Charlie Hendry was the boss that he was covering that day. I'll try to keep my
Hey bro, go again. Get him out of the way, bro.
I keep my political opinions about what was going on at the time, right? But I feel really strong about the area that the trade center was in. They just wanted to get it back up and running again, and they paved over West Street as fast as they could. And they found out later on that they were finding body parts, remains under West Street. So there was I don't know if you guys wound up going over and doing that, but there was a confined space standby for some companies. Yep. We went down in one day and relieved 252, and we happened to be right across the street from the Deutsche Bank building. And we heard it on a handy talkie. We were hearing the guys, all the transmissions and everything, and then we were watching it. And finally, we're like, Charlie, we got to go, and he told the contractor.
You weren't even assigned there. You guys were just there for.
No, we were just happened to be across the street. Yeah. And listening to the whole thing. And Charlie's like, listen, you guys shut this down. We got to go. And so we got all our gear on and we walked across West Street, and wound up coming up to the fire there. And, again, that was another one. I mean, it took them over an hour to get water on the fire because the contractors, for those not familiar with the story, it was the pictures. You got a picture of the Deutsche Bank there, Pete.
Yeah, I'm looking for it right now, sir.
Yeah. So the Deutsche Bank building was that's a Deutsche Bank building right there. That's right in front of 10 and 10. And, you see the pictures that building was so heavily damaged after September 11th that they never did anything for a couple of years. And when they started to deconstruct it, it was full of asbestos. So they had to do the reconstruction. So they actually started at the top and deconstructed the floors and made their way down. And so what had happened was the contractors apparently had cut the standpipe riser in the basement so that they can run electrical and pneumatic hoses through. So the companies that were supplying the FDC, water was just going into the basement, and they had no water on the fire floor.
And also, just to say this, the guys who were doing every floor, so when you do asbestos removal, right? This was being done through the city, quote unquote legit, I guess. They have all those spots where you have clean areas, dirty areas. So they got all this plastic up. You're supposed to walk into this area, take your stuff off, go into that area. They had all the staircases, I believe, had plywood. A lot of them had plywooded over, so you didn't even go up.
Yeah, depending on what floor you want and what part of deconstruction it was, plywood, 3/4 inch plywood walls with the Tyvek shit over it, and they had done it. The only way you could get floor to floor was most of the floors was from the elevator on the outside. I tell you what, there's the elevator operators that day, man, they took a beating. They were going up and down with guys all day long. But somehow or another, when we finally got both guys were down at that point. And by the time we got an assignment, we went up, we split teams. The three of us and went one way and three of us another. I can't remember. I think it was with Rob Brown and might have been Brad Daly, I think. But we wound up cutting through the floor with a sawzall because we heard the guys. One of the things early in the fire was they were trying to cut the plywood and they couldn't use the partner saws. Partner saws and because they were getting smoked out. So we brought the sawzalls with us. When we got to I think it was the 13th floor, and the stairway we cut a hole in the stairwell to get up through, and when we came out, we found one of the guys, Bob Badia and Joe Graffinino, were the guys that died at that fire. We found Badia's helmet right there, and the line that they had. So that was another one of those things where if we would have got up there sooner and we would have cut that hole sooner, maybe we would have been able to, that was another fire. I mean, listening to that fire too, there was 20 something.
Oh my God. Have I listened to that fire?
How much fire was actually there, Steve? Was there a lot of fire there?
Well, there was a lot. By the time we got up there was just a little bit of fire on the original floor, but everything that was burning up, they had a shit ton of fire up there. But then they had no water.
The guys couldn't bail out. They had no water, and you couldn't get out. Yep. They were running out of air, and every time they would find a staircase, they would start to go down, and it would be plywooded over. You couldn't even go down the stairs. So now you're working on air to try and get these plywoods up, and
wow,
you can't even make that shit up.
Did you guys wind up putting out the fire? Who put the fire out?
Well, there was a little bit of fire. I don't want to say we put the fire out, but we wound up with that original line that they had and put out some more fire. But by that time, most of it was out, and they had gotten both of the guys out of the building already. you know. But again, that's just one of those things where, like, you know, man, if we would have done this 10 minutes sooner, you know. Yeah, that's is that Hank Millay? That I haven't read that book.
I'm sorry, it's Frank Millay.
Frank. Yeah, but evidently that's a pretty good book about what happened, because
the fix is in for anyone who's looking for it. Yeah.
Even when they did, you know, whatever it was, a year or two later, when we got the report and we went over it, and you could see where guys were, where they entered, you know, where they succumbed to. There was guys all over the place. I think I remember talking to Todd Smith about that. I don't remember where Todd, he was in Rescue 1 at that time. I remember him telling me a lot about that job and some of the stuff that they were going through.
Yeah,
and
Todd was in Squad 1.
Oh, he's in Squad 1 at the time.
Yeah, that's another fire. I've listened to the audio so many times. You can hear him calling the guys to come back because it's lighting up.
Right.
Yeah,
I think they came in off the. There was guys hanging on the scaffold, getting onto the scaffold, all that. I mean, crazy stuff. I mean, even now after all this time,
Charlie Dodenoff from 2 ran out of air. You know, you can hear him on the radio. He's like, "I need help." You know, it was just crazy. It was another.
Definitely could have lost a lot more guys then, bro.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't go anywhere to get.
And again, that's
out.
that whole.
Yeah, go ahead, Steve. I'm sorry.
Get Luke. Couldn't get out.
I'm saying that's one of those jobs, if I remember right, where the guys walked in, and then it was lights out. Right. I don't. You know, there were certain areas where guys were able to walk in without, where they could see crystal clear, and then it was lights out, and then they couldn't get back to the way they came in, and then they would find a staircase thinking they could go down, and then there was plywooded over, and there was plastic all over the place. So. Again, it was like
it was a maze,
like being in a mouse maze. You know what I mean? So every time I think about that job, I'm like, it makes me crazy, it gets me nervous.
Yeah.
Hey, when you talked to Todd, was that before or after you had the screaming match with him?
What's the matter with you?
I'm throwing it out there. I'm sorry, bro.
I like Todd.
Me too. I like Todd Smith a lot. All right, so let's talk about why you did something silly and got promoted. What happened there? What? Great place. You're the senior guy. What happened?
Yeah, the only thing I ever wanted to do in my entire life was be a New York City fireman. That's the only, since I was a little kid, man. That's the only thing I ever wanted to do. And I had a plan that I got on a job at 27, so you can stay till 62 or whatever. So I said I was going to do 35 years and retire a battalion chief. That was my plan. Well, I'm not that smart. It took me 3 times to pass the lieutenant's test. So, and I just got a 70 in the time I finally passed it. So I didn't get promoted till I had 15 years. So
that's a good time now, bro. 15 years.
It's good. It was time to go. I needed a change.
Yeah.
So you're bouncing around battalion 19, right?
Yeah.
So you bounced for a while, right?
Well, I was in. I got taken care of pretty well. I had a lot of UFO spots.
Oh, no, stop. Hey, the gypsy made a call, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Got in a bottle of Jameson, you know?
That don't hurt.
So where were you at? Were you at any good spots while you were bouncing?
Yeah, I was in 33 truck for over a year. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
rookie. I wanted to go there.
And didn't have one first due job in 13 months.
No shit.
So, I swear, as busy as that place is, the only first due job I had while I was in that firehouse was I was actually working. A guy assigned to the truck got overtime, so I worked in the engine for him. And we had a good job down the block from the firehouse in a bodega underneath the multiple dwelling. But that was the only went to plenty of fires, went to multiples, and stuff like that. The other guys, I was the white cloud. They were all.
I was just going to say you were tap dancing around it.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. But that was another phenomenal place.
Chad in the chat is asking about Oreos.
Yeah, Chad. So,
Chad. Chad.
Chadley.
Chadley. So, when I would organize the recruit school down there, the recruits knew that my favorite cookie was the double stuff, golden double stuff Oreos. Nice. So they would, I got fat on those things. They were always bringing me the family packs. But You know,
They knew. They knew. Good.
yeah. So, but Chad,
So,
Chad came up with a good acronym. I don't know, you know, if he'll take credit for it, you know, even though it's probably not his. But talk about safety, you know, and safety means what does it mean? Search and find everyone. That's your job. You know, that's his acronym for safety.
Nice.
So,
Nice, dude. That is. Oh,
yeah.
look at him.
There we go.
No,
Stop
God.
sending me texts, for Christ's sake.
Coops, are you wearing pants?
Nope.
He's not wearing pants.
I don't wear pants ever. Very rarely do I wear
So,
pants.
I mean,
Shorts.
I'm just thinking about this, not before we get on to 43, but you went to 3 jobs in your career where
Fatal.
there was loss of guys there. That's
Yeah, in less than 3 years.
That's a big number, man.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a you know, and again, I got it on my notes here, but I remember talking to Mike Milner down at the Trade Center, and
Never
we're
heard of
in
Milner,
we're in the
Mike
parking
Milner,
garage.
Mike Milner.
You know, we're in a parking garage somewhere, you know, a couple levels below the ground, and I don't know how we got on the topic, but you know, Mike was at Pete McLaughlin fire and the Father's Day fire, right?
And he had Williams fire too.
And the Williams fire, yeah,
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's you know, it's like one of those things where like, oh God, man, I hope that never happens, you know, in my career.
Wow.
You know, but there's a couple guys that, you know, that went to those same 3 fires, you know, that were.
Well, Bailey was at 2. I mean, you mentioned Bailey. I know he was at 2 of those jobs, right? He was at the
Richie Bailey lowered
Right.
Andy Braun on the rope.
Right.
Yeah, Jimmy Hodges, who was in 41 at the time, he was at the Deutsche Bank fire while he was in Rescue 1. You know, there's a bunch of guys, but you know, the thing with Milner, who I know is a big guest on your show, we never came back with less than the 6 guys we went with. I can't imagine what that was like.
Yeah.
You know, driving back to the firehouse and not having everybody on the truck. You know,
You know what's funny is when they had the Atlantic Avenue fire, we were just becoming the squad, and we were in 288. Yep. But there was a lag, right, from May to July. They didn't put us online until July, but we were there in May, right, for 2 months. But we acted only as an engine. We were still learning and getting the tools and all that shit. But that job came in. I don't remember what month it was, whether it was June. Somebody in the chat probably knows the exact date. But we got relocated to 332. I don't even know if I've ever said this on the show.
Yeah, I know you
relocated to 332 and 175, and we backed in. And I remember we could hear the handy-talkie transmissions. And I remember looking at the shoes on the floor.
Yeah.
Right? It was Blackmore, right? Yeah. I remember looking at the shoes on the floor, and I was a kid. I had like 5 years on the job. And that still sticks out to me. Like, and then guys coming back from the job, and then the Chiefs came and, you know, all that stuff. And, you know, but like you said, you know, being, you know, a guy from another house is obviously as horrible as it is too, but losing somebody that you're very close to in your firehouse is even worse, right?
Going there with them and not coming back with them.
Yeah, but I mean, so how many guys did you lose from a house?
19 guys.
19.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, just you know, I think we take it for granted sometimes. So after all this stuff, I talk a lot about mental health. I do a lecture that I talk about even from the time back when I was 17 years old and being a volunteer fireman, from all the shit that's filled up our boxes, I call it, up on our head. So, but at one time a therapist was like, you got 2 scenarios left in your career. You know, one of your guys dies at a fire, or you die at a fire. I'm like, yeah, I don't like those scenarios. You know, maybe I should
either one. I'm not on.
I need a new therapist, or I need a new job. So, I did both. I retired and moved.
I like fishing, and you did it again. You went back. You were out. And they pulled you back in.
Yeah, just when I thought I was out.
That's it.
You know,
let's talk about 43 a little bit. Let's talk about 43 while we got
Yeah, I was bouncing around. It was in the 19th Battalion, mostly getting some good spots in the 7th Division, and did some vacations in 59 truck. And my dad was hanging out there. And when I knew I wasn't going to get anything at 33, so the battalion commander called up and he's like, would you want to go to 43? There's a spot that's going to be crazy. UFO, and then the guy's going to get promoted. And when I thought about it, I never wanted to go there because it was like my dad's there. My dad was such an integral part of that firehouse.
Right.
But I'm like, I got to make my own name for myself. But then I thought about, all the really, really, really important things that made it such a great firehouse. Like a parking lot, so you couldn't get your car broken into. And
your bunks, these are big decisions.
Yeah, and your bunk. That's AJ. That's the guy who said something earlier. That's Ariel Jackson. He's in Anne Arundel County down in Maryland. But the important things, like that the bunk, the officer's bunk, wasn't in the office. That you actually could close the door, so you can have some time to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you. I love that part.
Yeah.
Close the door.
And then I was like,
go away.
The one thing that's what are you doing in there? You've been there an hour.
There's no chance you told him to go away, Lou, right? Come on.
Go away.
Never.
It was and there was nothing bad about that place. I'm like, screw it. I'm gonna not be in a phenomenal firehouse. But also the history of it there too. I was hanging out there when I was 16 years old.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
I think that's cool, man.
And my dad's my uncle. There's a picture of me on my last night with two guys, Pete.
10-4 coming up.
Hey Steve, did your father buff there while you were there at all?
Yeah, he used to come over every Friday, Saturday night.
I love it.
In the 80s, it was a really big card playing house, right? So they used to play along with some other things they used to do.
Allegedly.
But big card playing house. So, and my dad's like a degenerate gambler. So I mean that lovingly, Dad, really. So,
really.
We love you,
Mr. 20. You get that 20 you owe me?
Yeah, they play cards all the time. Yeah, so that picture, that's my last night before I retired. And I would say the guy with the cool mustache, but they both have to. So Mickey, nice. Obviously you guys know Mickey, right?
Yeah.
So Mickey Conboy, and the guy on the other side that's my dad's best friend, Richie Goldstein. And
cool.
He retired. He was a lieutenant in 43. He retired, a battalion chief. He was in the Union when he retired, and unfortunately he got sick. He had some kidney disease, but unfortunately, last summer, he from COVID, he wound up dying from COVID complications.
Oh, that sucks.
And that was tough, and we weren't able to get up there to see him because of. But he was. There's the other picture of the table, Pete. So the traditions of the tables in the firehouse. Well, the old table was the table that he donated when he got promoted to captain. So now the table came out, and the table that's in there now is the one that my name is on when I got promoted, when I retired out of that place. So that's
cool, man.
Keeping up the tradition in that firehouse, yeah. So
bringing the firehouse kitchen table to you, baby.
You guys are doing it, man. It's funny. There's a retired guy who lives in my neighborhood down here, and we were talking about something, and talking about the show, and he's like, whenever I tell a story about the firehouse, I just laugh. The stories that you have is just crazy stories that some of them nobody would believe, like the one that Cheese Man told in 41's table.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And that he was a hairdresser.
So
that might be more astonishing.
I'm like, no, you were a barber. He goes, no, I was a hairdresser.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You're a wrestler, for God's sakes.
A wrestler. Come on, a boxer, a wrestler, a Navy guy, and a hairdresser? Are you kidding me, bro?
Like, I can't imagine him like with the scissors.
Yeah.
Listen,
cigarette hanging out.
I had the cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
A boxer, a wrestler, and a Navy guy could call himself whatever the fuck
That's it.
wants.
I mean, listen,
yes.
He said it was the 70s. He was a hairdresser. So
he's going to be at the
Cheese Man, man. He'll kill you.
He's like the
He's a
Zohan.
tough dude.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Jeez, we love you, brother.
Jeez, he's going to be at the show in Long Island, so we'll hang out with him.
Ah, that'll be fun.
That's next weekend already, man.
Let's
My
do
face
it.
hurts.
Yeah. Oh, man. So what else you got? Any other good stories from 40 Tree before we go to the old tip of this table or what?
For the guy that I was talking to the other day, he was, and I can't remember what house it was in Queens or something, but the house made CNN because they had the rat problem. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Whole family's
So
rats.
they had to close the firehouse.
Nice.
You know what they say about snitches?
Get stitches, baby.
This
They
is get stitches,
and
baby.
wind up stitches.
Oh my
But he
God.
was telling a rat story, we had the things that you do when you're living in a firehouse, like, oh, we have mice. Mice, nothing. We get
Mice.
you're in a ghetto firehouse. You got rats the size of cats.
Oh my God! I used to bring my pellet gun in. We used to shoot the rat.
Yeah, we used to make map gas bombs with the
Nice.
the
The
EMS
torch
gloves.
gas. Yeah.
Make map gas bombs and put them in the holes that they were in.
Nice.
And then we would, somebody would bring in their allegedly their BB gun and use the tick. But the best one was we
used to use the tick too, man. We used to thermal camera. Oh, we used to sit in the dark, laughing when you see the.
we had a mother. We had a female rat that was living in the couch in the TV room.
What?
And she had her babies.
Pete, you have no idea.
Inside the couch.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we wound up. One of the traps worked once, and we just found her snout. We didn't find the rest of her. Just a big snout. So then, like a week later, the guys are laying on the couch, in the TV room, and they're like, "What's that smell? What's that?" And finally, they figured out what it was, and they opened up the couch, and it was the dead rats, the mother and the babies, and she used to go in the garbage can. She used to go in the garbage can and take food out of the garbage can and bring it back to the babies, and they were living in this couch sleeping on it, so they brought that onto the parking lot.
Forget all that stuff. I don't even think about that stuff, right? I mean,
Gee,
the rats and the
why
mouse.
hadn't I ever thought of becoming a fireman?
So what's this Goose Creek thing going on? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What's going on over there? What is that? That's a fish place down there? What do you do down there at Goose Creek?
Oh, the food's good down there. So when I retired to take the job in North Charleston, I was a training officer for 6 years, and I just did training, and
what kind of training?
Army training, sir.
Thank you.
So I wound up having the opportunity. I interviewed at Goose Creek City Fire Department, which is borders North Charleston, and I wound up getting a battalion chief spot. There's 3 stations, there's 2 engines, a ladder, a rescue, and they run an ambulance, and I'm the shift battalion chief. So I'm still in it, man. I got back into the
He's doing it.
Yeah,
You don't go in anymore. You just point around outside, though, right? You don't have to go in.
No, they don't have enough people to just do stuff like that. I might have to stretch a line every once in a while because there's only 3 guys on a rig. So
yeah, you never walk in when there's a new guy. Go, kid, back in the old days when I was up in Harlem,
When I was jumping all of Nicolello's jobs.
When I was taking all of Nick's jobs.
When I was stealing a line over 45 engines, man.
And I mean all of them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Does Goose Creek have any geese over there? Maybe I could come down and shoot nothing over there.
Lou does not miss a chance
think...
to kill a geese. Here he is killing a goose right here.
They do any work down there at Goose Creek?
Yeah, I tell you what, probably the busiest down here though is probably North Charleston, the department I just left. It's right next to the city of Charleston, and the city's got all the tradition and the history and the old firehouses and everything. But North Charleston, whoa, there he goes again.
There he goes again.
Yeah, oh, something wrong with your computer? Computer?
There he is.
Oh, my
Hey,
computer.
Oh,
good man.
Steve,
Good man.
Johnny 2 is in the chat. I just saw. He said, Steve, now
Oh,
you get
John
to
2, yeah.
get out as a BC now.
Yeah, John lives in the upstate. No, he's in South Carolina too. So, but
Oh, he's down there by you?
no, he's a couple hours away from me, but he's in South Carolina.
I bet he's got to pick up
So
with a
it's
gun
like
rack.
I'm sure he does.
And
Him and
If you know John too.
Yeah, 2 from 4.
oh shit.
I had it. I'm done.
I'm
All right,
sorry,
get
Louis.
the fucking tipping dead. Can't take it anymore.
All right, stand by, because gentlemen and ladies.
I'm done.
Hold the fucking thing.
Would you put the fucking tape on it or something? Something. My God.
Weren't you in the squad at least? Do something.
Do
Figure it out.
something. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's time for the old school tip of the day. Take it away, sir.
So I thought I wrote a couple of things down, and one of them I had already mentioned about passing on all the information, but it has to do with that acronym safety and search and search and find everyone. That's your job. If there is somebody in that building until we learn otherwise. We had a job in the Bronx years ago where it was a bodega, a corner bodega, 1-story taxpayer, and it was locked up on the outside, roll down gates, locks on the outside, and there wound up being 2 people inside of it. So even though it looks like it might be vacant or it looks like it might not be occupied, there's somebody in there until we learn otherwise. So search and find everyone. That's your job, and that's what we do.
Nice.
I like it.
I love
See,
the acronym.
how was that? You were all nervous. It was something to be nervous about. You did great, bro. Awesome.
He wasn't afraid.
No,
I wasn't afraid.
I was not afraid of Chris King. No.
That's what I heard. I heard Chris King used to eat your lunch. I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, my lunch money. Yep, beat me up. Yeah. No,
I just wanted to show this one photo of your boys down there.
Oh, the Jersey boys.
That's
Charleston.
actually the funny story. Funny story with that picture is that we were doing a burn for the recruit school, and somebody tried to get me fired that day. But,
What?
Yeah. It's a long story, but the guy wound up getting fired himself, so it all worked out.
Hey, Petey, that last picture there with the red helmets, I wanted you to put that one up too.
The red helmets. This one
Yeah.
here?
No.
Oh, no, wait. That's not it. I got you. Sorry, bud.
Oh, yeah. Chris Blackwell. Yeah, that was in Indy a couple years before September 11th. I was doing the structural collapse class at FDIC with them, and Chris and I were partners. We were building Raker Shores. So Chris unbelievable. He was a paramedic too. Actually, it turned out what a small world. Chris actually, a girl I went to college with, who I dated for a short time, he actually saved her son's life.
Really?
When he was he was sick when he was a baby. Yeah, and Chris was the paramedic that responded first, and he actually saved her son's life. So,
Hey, just
Chris,
doing
that story behind that picture. You remember? You guys see Top Gun?
Yeah, sure.
You guys like movies. You remember the part where they're talking about, Maverick's like, well, I started off on a 6th where I pulled, and he kept saying I.
Yeah.
And it goes we.
Wait.
So the story with this picture is that Chris and I we built the Raker Shore to show everybody, and then every time Chris would demonstrate it, he'd go, well, I did this and I did that, and I go, Chris, we. Sorry, Steve.
Well, we pulled through the clouds.
But then every time we were at a fire together, we would call each other. It was silly back then, but now when you think about it, Chris, we call each other Goose and Maverick.
Who was Maverick?
But he was Maverick. I was Goose.
Oh.
No, I was in the squad, bro. My JV, man.
Yeah.
One of Bobby Gallion's little yellow friends.
That's
Oh.
right.
Little yellow friends, bro.
Gold.
We say gold, bro.
He had a great dinner that night. I cooked for them once too.
Yeah?
Nice.
Yeah, they can't. They never cooked over that, Cougs.
Yeah, the oven one. I cooked for him. I wanted to be a nice guy. I was on light duty. I tried to cook for him, but the oven wasn't working. So best meal he
Tell you
ever had.
Works now in a new firehouse over there, I bet.
Yeah.
All right, great job, Steve.
Nice work.
See, we're
Hey, guys,
rookie. What's the determination when your face hurts, right? My face hurts.
Yeah, my face hurts.
Yep.
Nice.
I really
Great job,
appreciate
Steve.
it.
We
No,
appreciate
Steve,
it.
very good. Good to see you again,
Great
brother.
stories. Yep.
Those guys are lucky to have you down there.
Get it done down in Gooseneck. All right, Petey, what do you got, kid? Anybody got any shout outs?
I got nothing.
Well, I
Nothing?
got a shout out to get well soon to Mr. Cool, alum of the show.
Yes.
We want him getting better as soon as possible. I did see his post in the fans page, and
He's supposed to
actually
be playing golf this summer. He better
oh
get
boy,
his ass
yeah,
together.
you got to get it right, man. But hopefully he's feeling better, and a lot of love and respect to you, bro.
Does he live near you, Steve?
Who's that?
Jeff. Cool.
Jeff.
Oh no, well he lives. He has a house up in Myrtle. I'm about an hour
Oh,
and 40
okay.
minutes.
Oh, right. He's over by Johnny Pegleg Walters. I forgot.
Yeah, one leg. Yeah.
One-legged.
Yeah, what's that sound?
You don't forget the siren.
There's a bunch of guys live up in the Myrtle Beach area.
Never gets old.
This is good. I saw this today too. This is a good thing to say.
Yeah, just to remember today, the continued rest in peace to FDNY firefighter John P. Devaney of Ladder Company 131, who made the supreme sacrifice on this day 33 years ago.
Never forget. Never forget.
Never forget, brothers.
That's part about the
quick
fire
shout out?
service. Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can say 5.
I just well, actually, it's 4. I think. I just wanted to say. I wanted to say to everybody at Goose Creek City, everybody at North Charleston Fire Department, the Jersey guys who we mentioned already, and the guys from On Scene Training Associates who I work for on the side. They do some really awesome things, some training. So,
hey, Petey, just a quick thing. I sent you a picture. Somebody from 41 just sent it to me. I sent it to you on the phone.
On the phone?
Who's the On Scene guys? Do you know them? Anybody else we know?
yeah, I'm sure you. I'm sure you do. Aaron Heller's chief from Jersey, right outside of Trenton, and he's got guys from all over the country that work for guys from Boston, Massachusetts, California, Ohio. A couple of
Start sending me some numbers, bro. Start sending me some phone numbers to get them on the show, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, start sending me some numbers, bro.
So somebody at 41
I'm
sent me
still on
this.
the job, bro.
Oh God,
What's going on,
What do you
bro?
got?
It's coming up right
He's
now,
in his underwear, bro.
can't wait for this.
Ask her,
it's
old lady.
What? I can't see it on my little screen. Can you make it bigger?
Oh, look at that right there. Ask your old lady.
Ask your old lady. Love
That
it.
was man. That kitchen in 41 was a tough place.
Ask your old lady. Why do we do that? Oh, yeah? You want to know why? Ask your old
Ask
lady.
your old lady.
It
Well,
fits
where the
into
hell is
everything,
that?
man.
Where is
You can-
I don't know. Ask your old lady.
Good stuff.
Doesn't
man.
get old.
Yeah. And to our audience, sorry for the technical difficulties tonight, but we're going to get Coobs a new computer tomorrow. So-
Computer.
Hey!
Oh, I just ran out.
There you go. Thank you, LG.
Steve,
for
nice job,
keeping
man.
me sharp.
I didn't know all that stuff about you. I mean, I knew the face and I knew you, obviously, a long time, but it's good to know all those little things now.
He's like an onion. We peeled back a lot of
Peeled them
layers
back.
there tonight, bro. We peeled them back.
Some
Yeah,
interesting,
make
I'm sure
it
he's got
cry.
more stuff.
Yeah, I am in touch with Mike Milner, by the way. We are doing that show on mental health coming up soon. So some dates to him. We're trying to get it together.
I would love to be involved in anything.
Yeah, I
You
was just going to say that.
absolutely can.
I become a
Absolutely.
peer. I know we're getting real close to the end here, but I become a peer counselor down here.
Oh,
All right, you're in. You see that? You're in.
Watch this. Ready? Watch.
You're in.
in nomine Patri Spiritus
Namine
Sancti.
Sancti, Spiritus Sancti. All right, Petey.
All right, man.
Do it.
Well, that was a great show. Thank you so much,
Super
guys.
J.
And as always, guys, we are also an audio podcast. You can find us on iTunes Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, on all the players, really everywhere fine audio podcasts are found. But if you're here at youtube.com/Gettin Salty Experience, hit that, like, subscribe, and share. We are growing. We've gotten quite a few subscribers this last month, but I'm going to tell you guys, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. It ain't enough. We need more. We need to get the word out because
get all those guys in Goose Creek to start hitting the button, bro. Subscribe.
it's not that hard. You just gotta. It's like putting the wet stuff on the red stuff. You gotta like, subscribe, and share. My goal is to get every firefighter in this country watching the show, or at least subscribe to the show. And that's no easy feat. So I need you guys to help me out. Instagram at Salty Dog Inc. is where you find us. Refrano's building that awesome fire photos catalog on there. So go to Instagram and check us out there. GettinSaltyApparel.com. Once again, guys, that's how we support ourselves on the show and get you guys the finest firefighter apparel and accessories in the game. Thank you to everyone who hit us up in the super chat tonight. Really, really, really appreciate that a lot. It's another way you guys support us. And you guys, as I always say, are our greatest sponsors and syndicators. You guys get us out there and support us. And we just want to keep delivering more and more great guests and great shows like tonight. So thank you guys so much for the support. Facebook, guys, Gettin' Salty fans page. It's not run by this guy, and it's not run by that guy, and it's not run by that guy. It's just run by you guys, the fans. Alan Shupp and Jose Martinez got it going, and now we have 25,000 plus people sharing articles, busting balls, having fun. Great community. Go check it out. Gettin' Salty Experience at gmail.com, where you will want to email Lou all of your guest suggestions. He loves volley firehouses from small towns, and that's where he wants to hear about that one time you guys had a big scary job. So shoot him that email immediately, right as soon as you hear this. Gettin' Salty Experience at gmail.com.
We got a structure fire.
If you have a 58-inch waist and one tooth in your mouth, please send Lou all these.
And send them photos of you and your lovely old lady. And then if you want to get on either the Cup of Joe and Fuego show or on Cocklofts and Cocktails, the evening version of that, our news and views, Cock and Cock, shoot it to Coobs at gmail.com, where we want your helmet cam footage. Especially, we want your fire photos, your hottest old lady contest photos, kitchen tables, tattoos, mustaches, rigs. Send us your fire related stuff. We love putting that news.
Did we say the hot old ladies? Did we say that? Hot old ladies.
Hot old ladies, please. We love those too. And that, my friends, is all the news that's fit to print.
All right, we got Bobby Sarno and the hidden buff tapes from the 60s on Monday night.
I got footage. And, dudes, but besides Bobby Sarno coming back on the show and showing us some of that cool buff stuff, and we're going to look at a few clips on that night just to give you a little undercarriage tickle, just like this.
Taste.
A little taste. We're going to give you a little taste. We're going to have 4 about 10-minute long videos with all 60s New York and Long Island fire buffing 8mm wind-up cameras. Awesome footage, man.
Never seen before.
Never seen before. You'll see it on our channel. Boom.
All you guys in the greater Long Island area, come out and see us in the Nassau Coliseum next weekend. We'll be out there, me, Ruffy, and if Pete gets his man card, he'll be out there.
I'll be there on the 12th.
Two weekends, right?
I'll be there on the Sunday because I'm going away the 11th and 12th. So I'll be there on the 13th. Sorry, Sunday.
No, I'll bring my little Asian boy. I'll show you how we pay coolie wages to young kids.
Hey, it's not the 11th and 12th, right? It's the 18th and 19th.
Oh, so it's the week after.
It's Super Bowl. What's a Super Bowl?
18th and 19th, not the 12th.
13th.
Is it the 13th?
No, they can't. They canceled that show, the 11th and 12th. I thought.
What's the Super Bowl? That's where we're going.
The 13th.
Super Bowl the 13th.
Going anywhere.
Yeah. It's the Super Bowl Sunday show, bud. I don't know what you're looking at right there.
Oh shit! A fight. No. Okay.
He's saying no. Okay, one bet.
No, I don't know. There was 2 Long Island shows. They canceled the first one, which was. No? Okay. I have no idea. I get all the information.
We'll see you guys all next week, and we'll make sure to post about this and the Getting Salty fans page, where we will give you the correct information as soon as we know it.
Yes, I'll double check. We'll post it. Yes. All right. See you guys on Monday. Stay low and go.
All right. We'll see you at the big one, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, everybody.
Thanks, Stevie.
All right, boys.